everybody. Welcome to the Connect Show with Jon and Tracy, where we join you each week to provide you with the resources to be successful.
And if you have an opportunity, the great way to start out the show is if you can put your information into the chat. Be sure to put your LinkedIn handle in there, because we are going to be talking all about LinkedIn, and it's going to be essential to your success today.
Gotta change the slide.
Oh boy. You're driving. There we go. I got too many buttons.
Please like and subscribe if you're listening to us on the podcast, LinkedIn, YouTubes, or Facebooks. And if you would like to join the conversation on Zoom, you can join us. What is our bit.ly address?
bit.ly/The Connect Show.
And then you can come join us and talk to us in person. So sorry.
No, it's okay. It's great. This week we are talking all about coaching. It's International Coaching Month. Yes, and having business coaches, life coaches, marketing coaches all month long. And today our guests are Celia Meisel and Sue Gresham.
Coming up next week, we have another exciting show with Yingy, I was close, and Heather Price, who are also business coaches. All month, business coaches.
This is going to be a month of growth and just crushing it. So we talked about sharing your information in the chat. And if you could, in addition to that, put who is your ideal client and describe that person. Give us a lot of info so that we can help you find more people to grow your business.
And the Connect Show is growing, so we are looking for some people to help and volunteer. So we don't have a huge budget for the Connect Show. We all volunteer to put this show on. All of our guests are volunteers. Jon and I are both volunteers. Kim and everybody who helps this show are volunteers. But we would love to have more volunteers. We would like to have some more ambassadors. We do have some monthly meetings that we talk about the direction of where we want the Connect Show to go. So if you have any interest in this type of thing, please contact us. We'd love to hear from you, and because we would like to make the show much, much bigger and better.
It's a lot of fun. And if you are a volunteer or an ambassador, you get to help volunteer and ambassador at the company picnic, which is on June
22nd.
Oh, we're going to go with that? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I think it's June 22nd.
We're committed to it. I know we had a conversation about that, but June 22nd, we're going to have a company picnic. So if you are an independent business owner and you miss making bad decisions at a company picnic, this is your great opportunity to do that. We're going to have wonderful food, things to drink, and plenty of opportunity.
Miss making bad decisions.
Yeah, there you go. So we broadcast our show from Studio A5, and we're here in the Expansive Workspace. We are just really fortunate to be partnered with Expansive Workspace. I had the opportunity to go to Madison last week and work in that co-working space over there. There's, I think, 40 or 50 Expansive Workspaces across the country.
There's quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, and they're all really cool. You know, it's just a great vibe, so we're just really fortunate to be partners with them. So, Tracy,
Jon,
let me ask you, how do you use LinkedIn to close sales, to make the deal, to get the coffee?
To get the coffee. How do I use LinkedIn to close sales? I use LinkedIn for a lot of connecting. I do a lot of connecting through LinkedIn. I reach out to a lot of potential people that I've never met before. I don't know that I really use it to close too many sales. Typically, that's going to be like a in-person type of adventure, like you're talking to them on the phone or over Zoom or in person. But I have done a lot of referrals through LinkedIn. So if I want somebody to meet somebody, I will refer them over to them through LinkedIn, and that works out really well because then they can just look at their profile right away and learn all about them before they even connect. So not too many closing of the sales.
Not a closing platform, but a good connecting platform.
I think that it can be good for some people in sales. I just don't think it's good for what I do.
Right.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, It doesn't work well to close the sale, but it's a great introductory tool. What I've found has worked best for me is if I find somebody in a region and I have them introduce me to people. That seems to be the best way that I can connect with people and get a response. If I cold connect with people, I think there was a conversation earlier about cold connecting and how annoying that's getting on LinkedIn. It's not working very well, so I think getting that introduction has been my best way to get the sale started. And then closing the sale usually involves, like you said, being in person, Zoom, or a phone call.
Right.
Do people do phone calls anymore?
Sometimes I get surprised by it. They say that they want to talk on the phone.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So we're going to do a quick check. One moment.
A quick cough check?
Yeah, that was my cough button. I'm sorry. Getting over it.
We want to briefly talk about what our mastermind is going to be on Fridays for the next month also.
Sure. And let's do the quick quote, which is, "Happiness is only real when shared." And that's by Chris McCandless. That's a great quote. I'm really, really digging that one today.
It is a really good quote.
Tell us about the mastermind, Tracy. What's going on?
So for the mastermind, we had a mastermind last Friday, and we talked about all the different pain points that are in some people's businesses right now, and we came up with sales funnels is a pain point. So between Jon and I, we are going to put together a month of sales funnel training for anybody who joins on Fridays. And we both have experience in it, so I think it'll be pretty interesting for the people who are looking for some answers on that.
Yeah, and sales funnels aren't really hard. It's just, well, I guess they're complicated, but they're not hard. And I think if you have a roadmap and you can see where all the pieces go, and I think because it's a complicated system, that first step is always where people get tripped up. Like, how do I start? And start with something that you're good at. Start with something that's easy for you. Get a quick win. Make something small, and then you'll see how it works, and then you'll say, oh, I get it. So
yeah, once you do a couple of them, you're just going to start thinking of a million different ways you can do it.
Right.
It gets to be pretty easy, I think.
Yeah, you can spend a lot of time doing this. So that's going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to share that. And that is on Fridays at 10 a.m. Central. Because
sometimes people come from not local. We have a guy coming from Poland, which is great.
There you go. That's awesome. So, vitamins for the soul. Camera 3 is blurry. Oh, what happened to camera 3? This guy over here? Yes. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you're a little blurry.
Oh, boy. Gosh, we aren't using use that one no more. I don't know what happened there. Ah, jeez. Okay.
You're not from Minnesota. Are you from Minnesota?
I was born and raised by Lake Harriet.
These comments keep coming up, and I feel like I'm really northerner than I really am right here in Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does that so well.
Yeah. From Sheboygan, eh? Okay.
I love it.
I gotcha.
Two heads are better than one,
Keep
right?
going, keep going.
Two heads are better than one. And one of the networking events that I attended that I found something really cool is they send out a list of attendees ahead of time and suggest that you connect with them on LinkedIn or find something that you're going to have in common to talk about when you're actually at the event. So connect with them, see what they're about, learn a little bit about the people, and if you could see the list of attendees, do a little bit of research, and it might make you a little more comfortable to have that start-off conversation. Be prepared to be a good listener. It's not all about what you can get from the event. It's really about what you can grasp and give to others, in my opinion. Be yourself. I'm looking out, thank you. Be yourself, smile, and provide open body language. So if you're cross arm, I mean, is that approachable? Be approachable. to others, and continue to build your relationships after the networking event. Follow up with the contacts, connect with them on LinkedIn, send them a message. Like it was, I think it was Rebecca said earlier, you know, it was wonderful seeing you at this event. I hope we get to see each other at another event, you know, go out for coffee, whatever it might be. Networking can be really intimidating, especially when you're an introvert. So if you go in with the mindset of building relationships, it's not about your instant sale, it'll be a key approach to networking success. So.
Fourth generation businesswoman and her company, Multifaceted Results, supports up and coming CEOs earning six figures to break free from burnout.
Celia is well regarded for her work as a sales team leader, sales team trainer, sales process development expert, and world-class coach. The sales teams that Celia has trained, led, and sold for over the last 2 years have generated over $9.9 million in high-ticket program sales. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So, are you using LinkedIn to close the deal?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm not using LinkedIn to close the deal.
Okay, so you're a sales expert, and LinkedIn is not the platform to close the sale. What part of the sales process do you use LinkedIn?
Like what many people here have shared today, I've found that it's really effective to share out my content, share out what I'm teaching and training on, share my opt-ins, things like that. And so it's been a tool, like a lead generation tool, where people came to me through LinkedIn, joined my email list, and then ended up booking a consultation with me, asking to connect with me further. So it's just been a great way to get visibility on my brand and messaging and really speak to my ideal client.
Mm-hmm. So you help entrepreneurs dealing with burnout and trying to scale their business. Can you tell me a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so I mean, I think burnout's always been around, right? But since the pandemic especially, I mean, who here has experienced burnout since in the last 2 years, from being on Zoom, from, being involved with technology a lot more. We've had so many people getting onto Facebook and all of the different platforms. I think there were like millions and millions of people got onto social networks that weren't previously on them during the pandemic. And so what I found as a way to prevent burnout is actually to take time away from technology and to do self-development. So I actually commit, I know you all are into the self-development and the vitamins for the soul, and so I recommend, now this is me, but I try to do at least 8 hours a week of self-development work, and that's clocked time. So that is reading books, and not business books sometimes, but that doesn't include business development. So I'll distinguish between the two, self-development and business development. But reading, doing mindset work, really filling my cup. And I have found that doing that for myself has made me more productive. And so that is something that I work with my clients as well. Like, hey, let's pull back. Let's get clear on your vision, what you're creating in your world, what you're creating in your business. And so that you can show up in, your full expression of self and not fried out and burned out and, with no energy and nothing to pull and nothing to pour into others with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've used that approach myself, actually.
Mm-hmm.
When I get too tired of working, I'm just spent on giving, because when you're working, you're just constantly giving, and you need something to come back and fill you up a little bit. And I typically go to some type of coaching or self-improvement, anything.
Yep.
And then fill back up and then go back to the work again.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's a great way to re-energize yourself, especially if you have been burned out. It's a great way to get yourself re-energized. And I've had multiple burnout cycles in my life. And in the pandemic, I definitely had one last summer, and I actually was doing 24 hours a week of self-development. And it got me right back, and I felt great, and I was ready to go again.
It's awesome.
That is, I love this. This is great.
It gives you permission.
Yes, give yourself that permission.
Yes.
So what are the key processes you think should be in place for scaling and coaching a training company?
Well, the first thing is that you should have processes.
Should have them.
So it's funny, I was writing a piece of content, you all were talking about the sales funnel and everything, and oftentimes as business owners, you'll be focused on, oh my gosh, what's my next marketing funnel? What's my next, my next lead gen tool? What's my next sales funnel? How do I build that out? And I would actually say that your processes that you have in place are more important than the sales funnel, because the processes are the engine that keep the company running, that keep the business running. And that leans back to burnout, right? Because if you're the one that's doing everything inside of your company, then you can never take a day off. You're always the employee inside of your business. So I say the first things are I call them your principles of work aesthetic, and it's really like the processes of how you want your team to produce work and the quality and that you want them to produce it with. And also, your key marketing processes, your key sales processes, communication standards. Really, I would say that there's like 4 or 5 key processes that if you have those in your business, you will notice an immediate change in the performance of your team. Business owners will be freed up with more time, more bandwidth to focus on being in their brilliance and their expertise, which is usually,
Creating
speaking,
more processes.
creating more. Well, that's mine. I mean, that's not everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the way that you, when I was dealing with a business coach, one of the first things that they said was make an SOP for your employees, for yourself, document everything.
Yep.
Because seems to be the only way you can scale is if you have some type of process in place,
Yep.
however that gets documented.
Yeah, I mean, you want those organized and then systemized. I have a colleague that I work with that she's amazing at documenting things, but there's no systemization. So you've got Google Docs and, 500 different folders. And where's that beautiful, piece of work that you created? So you need a systems person to come in and organize it as well, so that everything you have I call it a database or an SOPs library.
SOPs library, I love that one.
Yeah.
Yes. So what are your favorite sales conversion strategies for closing more deals?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I have so many. So my favorite sales conversion strategies. So I would say number 1 is empowering conversations and having great questions in place, and just coming in with excellent questions and then letting your prospect do the lift of the conversation in terms of they should feel like they're the ones that are talking the whole time. Just like coaching, right? Like you ask a question and the person's like processing through their ideas and creating their own transformation, and they're sharing. It's the same thing with sales. The only thing is we are leading them with our questions to make a decision. So I would say having a powerful list of questions that you ask for, or that you ask, and then also just actually asking for the sale. So Jon, are you ready to get started?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I mean, really, it's that simple. I mean, just closing the loop. So are you ready? Are you ready to get started? Are you ready? Yes. Okay, let's go. Let's put in the credit card. No. Okay, what else? What other questions can I answer for you right now? I mean, it really is that simple.
The process of discovering where they're at, basically.
Yep. And there's so many, I mean, like we're talking about closing, right? But there's so many things that go into having that conversation and getting to the point where you're actually closing. And so that happens on your LinkedIn, and it happens with your content, and happens everything up front, that whole customer experience that leads them to that moment where they're actually like having that conversation. There's, you've kind of made or broken the sale by the time they get to that point. So so that's why it's so powerful to be sharing your content, sharing your message, being visible, so that when people come onto that sales call, they have an understanding of your product, your service, and what you do. And if you're waiting to like do your whole product demo when you get on the call, that's a big energy consumption for you. I think I just made up a word. It takes a lot of energy strategy for you as the salesperson or the business owner. So just being mindful of that you're doing as much education about your product and your service and the transformation it provides, so that when they come to the final call or sometimes I like a 2-call close personally, but when they come to that actually closing conversation, they're ready to buy.
That's awesome. So if somebody were interested in working with you, what does that process look like?
Yes, so you can come to my website, multifacetedresults.com, and I have a contact form. You can fill that out. Right now I have 2 levels of services. We work with multiple 6- and 7-figure business owners doing done-for-you sales. So I actually have a team that I bring in, and we actually do provide the sales team, and we will actually close the deals for you and run your whole sales department on your launches or virtual events, sometimes in person as well. We were in Florida in January. And then for my 6-figure business owners, I have a group consulting program that I run where I take them through, teaching them the processes and everything. So you can reach me through my website, connect with me on LinkedIn, Celia Faye Meisel. I'm Multifaceted Results on Instagram and Facebook, and just happy to start up that conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jon and Tracy. This has been super fun.
We do have a page on our website with your name on it.
Awesome.
Kim's going to put that in the chat for everybody to go find it. Do you have anything that you want to offer our guests today? Any events coming up or promotions or anything you want to tell them about?
So on my homepage, I have a wait list. I'm going to be doing transformational training events starting in Q4 of this year. So I have a wait list for that. I have a free gift on my website, 9 mindset mantras for up and coming CEOs, so you can get started on your self-development practice, because the mindset work is so important in creating success.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And now we are going to bring it back to Kim for a marketing moment. So Kim,
Different chair this week.
I know it's kind of nice. You got a new kind of view, right?
I know. I like
There
it.
you
I
go.
like it. I like it.
What do we got going on for marketing moments? Oh, one more. There we go.
Just
Today.
gonna sit here. So today we're going to talk a little bit about hashtags.
Okay.
Everyone wants to know what to do with the hashtags, where to get them, how do I develop my hashtags? And there is no golden rule that I'm going to follow. That I'm going to tell you. These are the rules that I follow. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think it's great. So, one thing that I think anyone would agree with is use a hashtag specific to your brand. So my hashtag that's going to go on every single post of mine is hashtag opportunities knocking. Tracy is always going to use hashtag smallbizmke. I'm hoping Jon is always going to use hashtag MKE video, right? So you have to brand yourself. And then anytime you look that hashtag up, your information should pop up. So use niche specific hashtags to target the audience specific to your brand. So in Milwaukee, you could, if you have a food thing, you could hashtag MKE foodie. You could hashtag MKE taco. If it, depending, and I totally went food. He's even got it even better with MKE video. So his hashtag is kind of all in one and really pulls in the audience. You can develop or research hashtags specific to the product or service that you're offering. So if you offer something that is national, you can absolutely just hashtag taco. You can absolutely, you could get a little lost in a million posts. I'm kind of not liking that hashtag I just went with. You could hashtag specific video. You could hashtag camera, but if you're too broad, you're going to get lost within millions. So if we go a little bit further to our next one. You want to also definitely specific or target area. So if you are in Milwaukee, research what hashtags are specific for your area. So Nashville might have something else. Milwaukee keeps it nice and simple for 3 letters, which I love. So you can add it in front of just about anything. And then always add in a few specific hashtags to the topic of your post. So if you're doing a motivational post, you can, hashtag motivation throw it in there, and you might fall into some really good algorithms that people really resonate with what you're talking about for the day. If you have a special, hashtag special in there. And these are just a few simple tips. I have many, many, many more that I use to develop for our clients. But these can keep you in front of your target audience. So always keep your target audience in mind when you're developing and using your hashtags. And I'll help get you ultimate exposure. Yes, yes.
Okay. So when it comes to hashtags and people are posting on Facebook versus LinkedIn versus Instagram, is there like a rule of thumb how many hashtags you should have?
You're mean for asking that question.
sorry.
You're so mean for asking that question because everyone fights about it. Like, okay, Instagram says use 30 hashtags. No, use 10. No, use 8. I'm going to always tell everybody, see what your audience is looking for. I max out on Instagram. On LinkedIn, I try to go with like 3 to 5 because LinkedIn will kind of punish you for if you're abusing their rules. They don't like it. So they don't want you to be spammy at all. They want you to be natural. Facebook, I kind of do whatever. But Instagram, I will always go between the 15 to 30. I want to maximize my exposure as much as possible on there.
Yeah, and you see a lot of other people doing that same method on Instagram, so I feel like it's more acceptable.
And some of the research that I found, I mean, some of the platforms that we use kind of already do that research for us, saying, no, 30 is still okay. And I got something about a month ago saying 30 is still okay. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get as far as I can with it. So that's what I got.
Welcome, Sue. Welcome to the Connect Show.
Well, thank you.
Sue Gresham, aka the LinkedIn Lady, is a LinkedIn expert who teaches entrepreneurs, coaches, business professionals, and individuals in career transition how to use LinkedIn to demonstrate their professional expertise, establish influence, and authentically grow their business and their personal careers.
And as the founder of Innovative Client Solutions, Sue has been teaching professionals how to use LinkedIn for over 12 years and established herself as a sought-after coach and consultants and speaker. She is actively involved in her community, belonging to several civic organizations and clubs, and when she isn't busy with those things, she spends her time with her husband and family at the lake, rooting for her favorite Wisconsin sports team. I love that.
Of course.
There we go. Go Pack, go Brewers, Bucks in 6.
So I'm curious about our question of the day, and you're the LinkedIn Lady.
Right?
So everybody wants to know, how are you closing sales on LinkedIn, and are you closing sales on LinkedIn?
You know, I love that. And I love the comments that everybody had too, because that seems to be a question. What do we sell on LinkedIn? Do we not? So I will tell you really quickly, I do not close sales on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn totally. My purpose for using LinkedIn is to educate and to inform and to network. And those are, so I look at myself being a connector, being a creator. And those are really the things that are important to me. People are not on LinkedIn to be sold to directly. That whole outward spam thing. In fact, I just did a post in my LinkedIn newsletter about it, that people are tired of being sold to. They're tired of it. They don't want that to happen. So I use LinkedIn totally as the entry, as the starting point for starting that sales process.
Awesome.
That's a good place.
Then we know that we're all doing it right.
Right.
Because I think that's just about how everybody answered. So
Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
So LinkedIn continues to change and evolve. What do you see as the top #1 benefit of using LinkedIn?
You know, it really depends. Here's what I'm going to digress for a second. It depends on why you're using LinkedIn as to what benefit you're actually going to get from it. But ultimately, LinkedIn is a professional networking site, right? And it is a site where you put in your own information. You have complete control over what it is that you say and what you do. And so you can build your profile, and it becomes your professional, not resume, but it becomes your professional, like a web page just for you, built about for you personally. And so the benefit of that is that LinkedIn gives you a page, and as your needs change, you can adjust it. And so it's something that you can continually evolve and grow with. And that's what I love about LinkedIn. The set it and forget it don't do it. Go in there and tweak it and use it to build the things that you want to build.
And I think that's an important distinction because for me personally, a website, I can make my website and then not do anything with it for a long time because you don't have that maybe instant gratification of knowing that someone saw it, even though that people are seeing it. But on LinkedIn, you get that instant, I just saw your LinkedIn profile, or I just saw you in a networking event, and so you get that instant connection.
Absolutely.
So that's where I think it's a powerful tool to gauge your progress.
Right, exactly. And if I can add to that, if there's areas in your LinkedIn where you can, that are very visible, that top box. So if you go in there and you tweak your headline on occasion, that shows A, that you're actively using LinkedIn, but B, it lets people know what you're up to at that point. And so you can use it as a sales tool, but let's call it marketing instead of sales, okay? But you can use it as a marketing tool to announce what you're up to without being in somebody's face. It's pretty cool.
Do you have any, I'm going to sidetrack here, do you have any specific techniques for that top box? Like, is there, should you just be putting all keywords in there? Should you be writing out a sentence? Just a quick little tip for us.
So, I'm not sure what else you're going to ask, but there's a really cool thing that just popped up with LinkedIn in the top box. So, that headline area is really meant to talk to your people about who you are, what you do, and how you serve them. Your LinkedIn is really about serving other people. It's not about you. And it's about answering the questions so that people want to get to know you better and have that next conversation, to have that next sales conversation or whatever that is. So that top box in the headline, you've got 220 characters. Talk about who you are, what you do. Keywords are good, but who likes to read keywords? Keywords are kind of, they're there, but who likes to read them?
Right.
So the idea really is tell a story, use sentences, and that for the headline. But in the top box, there's a brand new thing. Should I tell you?
Yeah. Yes, we're excited about this.
This is really cool. And it just popped up on my profile literally this week. Okay? So it's being rolled out slowly. But in the top box, when you go in and you hit that pencil button, the top box, by the way, is called the introduction card. Okay? When you're in your introduction card, there is an area where you can put a link to a website. And people can click right on it. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see it right now because I just did it yesterday. I was so excited. I just have to share it with you. It's like, I know geek stuff, right? But go to Sue Gresham, look at my profile, and you will see that there's a link. And what you can do is you put in the HTTPS to wherever you want to send it, and then right underneath it, you can then put in whatever you want to call it. So mine says level up. You know what? I don't remember exactly what I put, but it's that fresh. But you can put a link in, and then people can click to whatever it is that you want to send.
So you can make that word a call to action with your link embedded inside that call of action term.
Oh, sweet.
Exactly. Yeah. So marketing, not sales. Marketing. But yeah, it's really sweet. So if you have a link that you want to put in, if you've got a program that you're offering or even a link, just the link to your website, people won't necessarily be going to that. They will if they see it on your top box.
Yeah, you could put get the goods and your link to your.
Yeah. Now there is a limit. Okay, I think it was maybe 30 characters is all you could use to describe it, but it's really it's a link for you to use. So
the meaning of life.
Okay, well, if you've got the answer to that, let us know.
I know, would that be great? It's in donuts is the meaning.
Donuts
is in donuts.
Oh, shh! Did you hear my stomach growling?
Yep. We all got it. We all the next show we're bringing donuts. There we go.
So what do you consider to be the most important thing LinkedIn users should do with their LinkedIn profile or do on?
So here's what I think. Thank you. I love this question. What I think the most important thing for them to do is to really talk about themselves. And I don't mean braggadocious talk about yourself, but I mean explain to your reader the value that you provide for them. You put yourself in a first person speak and you think about who you're reader is going to be and what's in it for them. You know, there's that whole radio station, WIIFM, what's in it for me, right? So what you want to do is you want to be letting them know how you're going to help solve their problem. And if you can do that, and if you can make it interesting enough, then from that point forward, people will be wanting to engage with you and they'll be interested in finding out what it is that you're all about without selling to them.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what do you find to be universal when you're helping someone with their LinkedIn?
I think that's my phone. No,
That's all
maybe
right.
not. I thought I turned it off. I'm sorry. What do I think it is that universal? So here's the thing. People don't like to talk about themselves, right? They don't. And they don't know what to say, and they don't really see the value in what it is that they've got to offer. You know, especially if you're from this little Milwaukee area here, okay, where we don't like to talk about ourselves. And I'm not saying bragging, I'm just talking about talking. We don't like to explain what we're really good at or the knowledge that we have that somebody else is going to be able to help, that you're going to be able to help somebody with.
That definitely is a skill that I think everybody
Yeah.
needs to work on to be more productive in your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's how can you be bold and not, overly
Right.
confident?
Right. And there is a little bit of a knack to it. But here's the thing. People really want to know about you. They're curious. They're going to your profile for some reason. They're going to your company page for some reason. And so if you want to share that with them, that's what you should be doing. So don't be afraid to do it.
Be bold, be brave, be courageous. Off topic, when LinkedIn, if you're not on LinkedIn for a while, there's a LinkedIn phobia, a LinkedIn fear, where you could look at everybody's else's LinkedIn, you go, oh my gosh, everybody's doing better than me, and everybody's doing more than me, and so now I don't want to say anything because
I don't want to bring attention to myself.
Yeah.
Or I'm not good enough, or any of those.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that because I just went through that, where I went really quiet for a while because I was afraid because there are so many smart people out there, and you think you're competing. But here's the thing: first of all, it's not about you, right? It's about what you have to offer, the value, the giving that you've got. But the other thing about it too is, people are going to be just happy to see that you're back. So if you step away for a little while, just come back and embrace it and say, yeah, I'm here, and let's have a conversation and go from there. It's like, remember when we used to network in person? And now we're going back to a little bit, right? But what is that first thing you do when you see somebody that you haven't seen for a long time, right? Yeah. So good to see you. Right. Oh, I missed you. You know what? Just embrace it, and people on LinkedIn will be really happy to have you come back.
Rub some dirt on it, be tough, and get out there.
Spend some time in that self-improvement area and build up some confidence, change your mindset a little, and then go
there you
on
go.
out.
It's all about mindset.
Yep. So as an average Joe, what can I do to get more visibility on LinkedIn?
Here's the thing. We're all average Joes. Okay? We all are. So us average Joes and Josies and whatever else, whatever we are, just show up. Just show up. And you don't have to post 10 times a day. You don't have to be out there. In fact, don't post 10 times a day. LinkedIn doesn't like that. But, here's the thing. Get engaged and just show up and comment on somebody's comments or posts. Reach out to somebody. Send an in message, not an in mail, but an inbox message to somebody saying, hey, how you doing? Congratulations. Just do a little bit. And the more that you do, it becomes visible. If you comment on someone's post, the other people in that comment, in that whole post, are going to see it. That's visibility in itself. And so if you think of it from that way, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just, nice, simple comments, and that'll help.
Do a little bit every day. So you said something in mail, not in message. Please clarify.
Okay, so in-mail is this thing that people, that costs, when you have a paid account, you get in-mails, okay, and they come into people's inbox and it says in mail, all right, in mail appears right now the way LinkedIn has it set up to be kind of spammy, okay? So if you are in mailing somebody, oftentimes, in fact, I just heard a stat yesterday, I think it was, like only 8 or 10% of the in-mails that are sent are actually read and responded to. So in the inbox, that's where you're connected to someone, or there's other ways to inbox them. That's going to get you more traction than the actual in-mail that you're paying for.
Okay, so in message is good, in mail is not as good.
It's not going to get you the notice that
Right.
you might
Okay.
want.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, what's the biggest mistake you see people doing on LinkedIn?
You know, if you'd asked me that yesterday, it would have been a different thing. So today, there's two. Of course, because we're talking about sales, it's that spamming thing, you know, that sending the invitation to connect without any reason, without any rhyme other than I can 5x, 10x your sales. Okay, or I'm a digital marketing specialist and I can help you, you know, instead of really getting to know who it is that you're connecting with. First of all, a lot of those are automated, a lot of them are bots. You know, that's the biggest mistake I see people making, is thinking that they can go in for the sale right away. That's the biggest one. And that's the biggest pet peeve right now that people have.
Yes.
It's the
Huge
biggest-
turnoff. Huge.
There's nothing worse than trying to be sold to. You know, when I'm networking with somebody, right, you know, I'm going to hand you your business card if you ask for it. Or hand my business card to you if you ask for it. Or I'll ask you, but don't just throw it. You know? So that to me is like right now the biggest mistake I see people making.
And I think there's a great opportunity for somebody who's really ambitious. You could make a course on how to not cold sell and slam people on LinkedIn, and then every time you get one of those, send it back to them and then try to convert them into a sale for $29.95. Boom, I'll take my royalties on that one.
Bam! That's a great idea.
There we
Let's
go.
talk about that later, okay?
Okay.
All right.
We'll look into it. I think it's a good
Oh,
idea.
I'm feeling
Yes.
this energy
Yeah.
here, just going between
Yeah.
me here.
Make lemons out of lemonade.
Yes.
Wait, okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you go.
So, we were going to ask you what the new latest feature on LinkedIn, but I think you might have already talked about it.
I just jumped into it. That's brand new. LinkedIn keeps adding new features all the time. And so I think if you aren't afraid to just, the next time you go in, just dig around. You know, hit those little 3 dots or hit the arrows, the down arrows, and just see what some of the things are. I think that will, there's just so much cool stuff happening.
I do have a question. So, on my LinkedIn page, I have a lot of people in the past that would, like, do all those skills, and you'd have like 99 people think you're good at this and 100 people think you're good at this. Are those as relevant as they were 5 years ago? Because I'm not seeing as much stuff around it.
So it is relevant for people that are looking at your profile. It's the social proof of LinkedIn. Okay. So if somebody is going to make a decision between you and somebody else, okay, and it's a pretty close toss-up, or they're making the decision between, even if it's not just you, let's say between you and 3 or 4 other people, and they're just trying to decide who they're going to contact for that first question. If you have a lot of skills and recommendations in those areas, it does make a difference. Okay. Plus, they're keyword searchable. And so a tip, since you asked, I always throw tips in here. A tip is that you can rearrange the order of the skills that you've got on your profile. You can drag and drop. So click in there and you can drag and drop. So pick the top 3 skills that you want people to know that you have. Not necessarily the top 3 that you've been endorsed in, but the top 3 that you want people to know, and that's what people will see. So video, obviously video, hello, but you know, and marketing and all the rest of that. But I think that those very definitely can make a difference.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people doing them as often as I used to. So I'm
Yeah.
just curious if people are. Could you go out and ask people for that? Would that be?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, if you like what I'm doing right now and you're connected to me, you have to be connected. Please go and endorse me for LinkedIn. You know, I just did it right there live and for everybody.
you go.
And that's what, certainly do
Just
that.
as easy as that.
And it's a good thing to do when you're working out with a client too after you're done. You know, you ask for testimonials, right? Why not ask them for an endorsement or a recommendation on LinkedIn? I wish I did more of that. I tend to forget to do that, but
Yes.
I think a lot of people forget to do that.
Yeah.
It just gets to be so hard because you're going through the whole process of everything and then you get to the end. Unless it becomes part of your process,
yeah.
like that's the most important part, I think.
Well, and I think you made a great comment too, because you said you're not seeing a lot of people doing it. That's because when endorsements started, 10 years ago, whatever that was on LinkedIn, they threw it in everybody's face.
Yeah.
You know, endorse. Now it's very subtle. Now you'll see it when you go to someone's profile, and it might give you an option if you recognize a skill, or if they're go ahead and endorse them.
Right,
But
right.
it's very subtle now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, good stuff about LinkedIn. I'm loving
Yep.
There's so many cool things about LinkedIn. I could talk about it for all day.
Right.
it. We do have a page on our website with your name on it. Kim already put it in the chat. I see it.
Awesome.
But do you have anything you want to offer our guests today? Anything you want to tell them about? Event specials?
Awesome. So, like I said, go to my LinkedIn profile, okay, and click in that introduction card. Click on that little hyperlink that I just put in there.
Oh.
Level up. I have just created my own show too, similar, different to this. It's called Level Up Your Success using LinkedIn, and if I'd love to have you come and join me. So there's a
Great.
link to how to get the information.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Wonderful.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
So thank you, Sue, for joining us today.
Thank you. This was a blast. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we are off to the
Yeah.
rest of our show.
We are
Okay.
off. Yes. And so once again, the Connect Show Mastermind is this month, and we'll help you build a funnel, whether it's new, a new funnel, your first funnel, or you're just getting started. And that's Friday at 10 a.m. We are available for the Mastermind. So thanks everyone for coming today.
Yeah. And if you've thought any more about the volunteer opportunities, reach out to us at theideas@theconnectshow.com.
And thank you, Kim, for all that you do. We really appreciate it.
Yep, she's over there typing away. We can see her.
She's
We're watching her.
She's rocking it. It's so fun when we have everybody in the studio. And thank you to our launch team that is here making our TikTok famous.
Yes, we have a new TikTok on our TikTok channel today. We just did one this morning.
I feel so young.
It
feel
took us
10
only
years
like
younger.
10 times to
I know.
do it, and then they put it out there. So we have now 2 videos on our TikTok channel.
Next week I'm gonna get my hair dyed blue. So I'm just gonna dive right into being that old young guy.
There you go.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
And I think that's a wrap on our show.
And that is, as they say, yeah. I think you did a great job at that. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you guys next week.